All right. Hey guys, it is Miss Mobley. We are going to be drawing today. Hopefully, we can figure this out together. um, the biggest requests that I saw were for animals. Sorry, my voice is being weird. Um, so, what I would like to start with is a cartoon panda, and then later we will do a more realistic version for a wolf. So, we'll be drawing that a little later. But we're going to start with the easier one, and I would always say that cartoon versions of things are easier to draw. So, if you're still trying to learn to draw, start with cartoon things because you can really kind of figure it out more with those simple shapes. So if you look here, you can kind of see with our panda that at least in these two examples that I found, those are really simple shapes. And we've talked about those simple shapes: circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, and ovals. And that's what you use. Those are your building blocks to create something. Now, it's not what you're going to stop at, but it's what you're going to start with. So we're going to go ahead and now I ended up finding 3 different pictures. So you can just Google this, or that's what I did. And you can find some little references for yourself because it is a lot harder to start drawing from nothing. But one of the things that you're going to possibly need to be worried about as you get older is copyright. So I wouldn't want to copy this straight because this here was probably my favorite one because it's so cute. But I wouldn't want to copy it straight because that artist created that one. Unfortunately, I don't know who the artist is for any of these, but to avoid um, copying that artist and trying to pass off our art as their or their art as our art, a way to avoid that is to just make it your own. So I got 3 different pictures here, and I'm gonna try and like pull some things from each of them to kind of like make my art a little bit different. Hopefully, that's the goal at least, right? So, um, if you aren't aware or you don't know, this is Photoshop that I'm using. It's just a program on the computer. Unfortunately, you do have to pay for it, but I figured that this would be easier than trying to record myself drawing with the iPad. So this is still going to be the same techniques. I'm just using the computer. All right, hopefully that's all that we have to talk about now. So what I'm going to be doing is I would probably say start with an oval type shape for the head. So a wider oval instead of a tall oval. So that would be our tall oval. This is our wide oval over here. You could even just start with a circle, whatever works for you. Then I want to give him some ears. So I'm going to start with probably a circle. But if you want to stop before you go through here, it doesn't really matter. Remember, these are your building blocks. So if you need to start with those simple shapes, because I know some of my little kids are going to be following this, my kindergartners and my first graders, and maybe to an extent some of my second graders too. Or if you're just not a great artist, and even if you're 4th and 5th grade, this is a great way to start. Now remember, with our guidelines, you're going to want to erase those things that come over. So even though I used it to help myself find that shape, I do want to go in and erase that part here. And you could also like use your eraser to clean up any of your messy lines if they do get messy. Another thing to do is to blend or use your finger. Like since I'm using the computer program, I don't have to use my finger. But if you see me do this, that is basically just what you would do with your finger. You're going to blend that lead around a bit, that mark that you make with the pencil. So if you see me do that, that's all I'm doing is blending. So we've got our face shape now. I kind of, I'm not sure which one I really want to focus on most. Maybe I can do a boy who's lifting weights, but then there's like a little cupcake over here that he's staring at, like, oh man, I really want that cupcake. So that's what Miss Mobley feels like right now. I need to be doing more of this and less of this. Anyway, so we have our shape for our head. Now we just keep going in and adding more details. So a step at a time. One of the things to pay attention to here that I really, really like is that outline. So instead of it being a smooth line, they've added some zigzags. So you've probably heard me talk about those curvy zigzags before to make it look more like hair. So once you have your outline, you can, or your basic shape there, you can kind of go in and add this to it. So I'm erasing that smooth line and I'm just adding that texture, that hair feel to that outline so it doesn't look, so he looks like he's hairy, because even our pandas are hairy. Pandas are so silly too, right? There's tons of fun YouTube videos of all kinds of different crazy antics that they get up to. So just adding that little bit of a texture there. You can add it to the ears as well if you want. It's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the face some more though. So I like this nose shape, this like kind of circular triangle. And again, even with your pencil, you could start with that circle like I did and then add some edges to it that make it look more triangular. Not sure if triangular is a word, but we're gonna act like it is. I'm gonna fill it in. Now, if you're only using pencil, I'm gonna just stick with this gray pencil color because I know that not all of you do have colors. But if you have colors, then instead of shading, you can think about coloring it later on if you want to. But I'm gonna leave that up to you guys if you want to color. I'll probably be shading a little bit, especially on that wolf later. But I don't know if I'll do a lot of shading on this. Well, maybe a little bit. So we're gonna add some little inside parts to the ear here. Again, it's just a curved line. Remember, take it a step at a time. And since I'm recording this, you guys can watch this over and over and over. I don't know if I would want to hear my voice that much, but if it helps you guys, that's what this is all about. You're taking this at your own pace. I'm just cleaning up my lines a little bit there. And now I'm going to add the eyes. I like this big shape. I mean, I love these eyes. And if you guys want to kind of like copy that a little bit, you know, if that's what you want to draw, I know that those guys are so cute right there. But for my video, I didn't want to get into any trouble just copying straight, right? So with this shape, it's kind of a rectangle or a stretched out square, but over here it curves a lot. So I'm going to start with that kind of rectangle shape. I could even put the side here for the other side of the rectangle. And then I'm going to curve to change it up a little. I can erase that guideline I had. And then I have that sort of weirder shape. So I'm going to do it again over here. Rectangle and curve and clean that up. Now that I have that basic big shape for the black area around their eyes, now I could go in and put another circle. And here I'm going to make his eyes a little more cutesy, so it's not a full circle, but again, if you're drawing lightly and you need to draw the whole circle, you could just like that, but you would definitely need to erase that part, right? So make sure that you get that erased, and again over here, if you need to do the whole oval or circle, you can, but you gotta remember to clean up this part or it's going to start to get messy, messy, messy. We're starting to see our little face here. Now we have the big outer shape and the circle. And if you look at this, there's like two more big circle or ovals in here and then those little circle highlights. So if you want to add that many circles, go for it because the more details, the better usually. I'm probably just going to add one more right here and in here. And I'm going to shade those in. Shade that in. And then to make him look more like a panda, let's see what it looks like if we go ahead and shade this in too. Remember, shading is coloring with your pencil. Yes, with your pencil. So now we've got that area around his eyes shaded in. And then if you wanted to, you could put some of those little highlights. Um, so I could put like a big circle right here, or just use my eraser to erase out a part there. Oop. And now I have my little highlight circle. And then I could do the same thing over here. Draw a bit of a circle. I know it's a bit hard to see right there. You can always just use your eraser. One thing that a lot of people forget is your eraser can be a drawing tool as well. And how it becomes a drawing tool is you're erasing into things and making weird shapes, and that's drawing again. So you can always use your eraser as a drawing tool too. So we're almost done with his face. I think I want to give him some little freckles because freckles are super cute. How many freckles? It's up to you. It doesn't matter. Whatever you think is good. Let's see. Ooh, I like this little line that comes down to his mouth. So I'm going to put a little line here connecting down. Make his nose just a little bit bigger. And to do that, I'm not erasing this whole thing. I'm just adding more to it. So you do not have to, if you look at something and there's something wrong with it, but you think you can fix it, like just add to it. Don't waste your time erasing it all. I'm gonna make mine happy. I want a happy panda. So let's curve the tops here a little bit more. Wonder if, ooh, I like that. Yeah, we'll add a little curve under his mouth here for his little bottom lip there. And I like putting little blush parts. So I want to put my little blush parts here and like they cover or block over the eyes a little bit. If you're drawing a boy, you don't have to put the blush if you don't want to. And because so many girls always ask me, Miss Mobley, can we draw eyelashes? Of course, if you want to draw eyelashes, go for it. It would probably be weird to put the eyelashes here, but I kind of like the way that looks. But the eyelashes would probably be, if we're doing this the correct way, they're probably going to be there. But I think it looks kind of cool if we put some little eyelashes there. Again, it's style. It's what you think looks good. So if you don't like the way that looks, that's fine. If you're watching this, you're going, Miss Mobley, you're ruining it all. Well, it's style. It's a stylistic choice. So if you want to do it differently, and then show me what you did so I can see. I'm going to say let's go ahead and shade in these ears so we have our black-eared panda. This is kind of messy shading, but it's not too bad. I'm going to blend it out a little bit. And again, as a reminder, when you're blending, just use your finger. Yeah, you're going to get your fingers kind of messy, but it'll be okay. You just got to wash them. Hopefully everybody is washing their hands a lot right now. And we got this other ear. Blend it in a little bit. All right, now on to the body. I'm gonna say let's kind of go with this kind of body. We're gonna make him a little pudgier. We're gonna give ourselves a big old panda bear. So again, just an oval, Again, if you need to draw over this, you can. Just remember to erase. So just adding an oval on. I like his little stubby legs. Kind of makes me think of my puppy. He's a short little stubby dude. He's a corgi. You'll probably hear him off and on throughout all of these videos. He likes to talk a lot usually. So for his legs here, they're just rectangles. So if you needed to draw that whole rectangle again, you're more than welcome to. I just stopped there, so I didn't do the whole rectangle, but I showed you, so hopefully that works. So we got our body shape. I'm trying to figure out if I want to draw this, what are these things called? um, the, oh my goodness, I just spaced the word. The weights, yeah, the weights. So I'm gonna find out if our little panda's lifting weights. I think we can. We probably could. Maybe we'll put a shirt on him. So we're gonna have his little belly. So we've got the white part of his belly. You could do it as an oval. I like that these are going more squarish. Yes, that is a big curved line, but do you see how it's kind of square or rectangular-ish? So I like that it gets wide like that. So to start that shape out, you could just do a big rectangle and then again, just curve the edge. So we're gonna erase that line. Actually, let's see if we can pull this up a little bit further. Now, I think in just a minute, I am going to erase all of that stuff because I want to put a shirt on my panda. I think he could use a little shirt because I like these shirts that they're wearing. I think we will go ahead and make some of those weights. I hope I stop forgetting words. So this is a rectangle shape, but it gets kind of skinnier towards the top. And then his hand is just kind of an oval. And it kind of goes right over the top of that weight. So that line's going to be where our weight goes. This arm's going to tuck behind his head so we can be lazy and we don't even have to draw the rest of his arm there. That's my favorite part. Part where we get to be a little lazy, right? And another arm over here. So again, I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can see that rectangle shape that gets a little skinnier. And then, oh, there's my puppy. The oval for the top of his hand. Sparty, shh. My goodness. I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna hear a lot of him. I guess that's the exciting or sad part about teaching from home. You're gonna hear my little puppy dog. All right, let's move him over just a little bit. Move him just a little more so we can hopefully get those weights in. So these weights are just rectangles that curve on the top. So even with this, you could be a little sloppy. So you could be kind of doing these sort of scrabbly like lines, getting that rectangle shape. Just don't press too hard. So if you get a little too crazy, you can erase it up a little. And then I just put a curve on the top and the bottom. So then I'm going to do it again right here. Kind of a messy rectangle. Curve on the top. Curve on the bottom. And then we had our line starting over here. So we're going to thicken that out a bit. And then kind of just, now you could just draw straight through to get this lined up nicely. But again, remember, it's tucking underneath his hand there. So you wouldn't want that line to stay there. Just make sure that when you're doing this, if you have a straight line like this, that you're making sure that this one is connecting through and that you don't have the other part over here, because that's going to look really weird, right? So you want to make sure you're lining it up pretty good, because those straight lines need to stay straight looking. So then we'll move this over a little and we'll go and do it over here. Get a messy looking rectangle. It curves at the top. Clean up if it gets too messy. one more. Ooh, now we're lifting. Alright, and remember, we have to erase this part. So, I hope you're remembering what Miss Mobley says so many times. Draw lightly and draw big. So let me zoom out a little bit here. So we basically have our cartoon panda done at this point. And if you guys wanted to submit just something like this, that would be fine. But again, remember, you can keep adding more details. You can keep adding more extra stuff because the more stuff you add, the cooler it's probably going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and put a shirt on him. So to start off, I'm just going to have a curved line. And again, I hope you've been drawing lightly because if you haven't been, this is going to be really obvious still. I'm going to erase that part of his belly because he's got a shirt on now, so we don't have to see that part of his belly anymore. It's covered up. I think I'm going to put a bit of a collar on mine so you don't see one here, which is going to make it a little different from theirs too, so that's all the better. So this is our creation and not something we're just copying straight. And put another curved line. So if you look at your shirt, you probably have this thing called a collar. It's just, I don't know what to say aside from it's a collar. That's where your head comes out of your shirt. So we got that, and let's see. Put some curved lines up here for the sleeves. And a curved line right here. One of the things that makes clothes look like they're actually on the body, so if we just have this smooth line, it's not going to quite look right, but the clothes actually go around our body, so they're a little bit outside that body line. I don't know if you can see that, but it's going to make it look more like he's wearing clothes instead of just like he has clothes painted on or something like that. So make sure there's this little indent right there. If you're one of my kindergartens, don't worry about that. We're just drawing. We're just drawing. Remember, guys, this doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to look exactly like mine. This is your art. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and shade this part of his belly in. Make this little belly part a little skinnier so we have a little more here. Oh, got a little messy. And I think we're going to go ahead and shade in his legs too. Why not? Clean up this little area a little bit, make it a little bit less messy. And just as a reminder, you can be doing this on paper. So I know I'm doing it on the computer, but I'm totally okay with you guys doing it on paper. If you need me to try and find some programs, some free programs for you to use to do art on the computer, I can see if I can look some stuff up for you. I know GIMP, I'll write it right here. I haven't checked in a while, but there's a program called GIMP that you can get for free, but I'm not sure if the school computers will let you download programs, so you might not be able to. But again, you can just use paper, and paper is probably easier because then you don't have to worry about trying to learn a new program on top of it. Just paper and pencil. All right, try and think of what else we could add. We talked about a cupcake, so maybe we can put a cupcake down here. So a rectangle, but do you see how it gets a little wider towards the top? So kind of like a triangle, but not that crazy big. Or maybe he wants a cupcake that big, I don't know. So we've got our rectangle that gets a little bit wider towards the top. And then we've got a curve on the top, a little muffin part of our cupcake. If you want, I'm gonna do a different one than this. I'm gonna put the little muffin part. Let's clean this up a little. And then I'm gonna do a little swirl with just curved lines there. And now we've got our little bit of cream on the top. Do you want to put some cherries? We can probably put a cherry. Let's put a cherry. Let's see. Ooh. I'm going to put one cherry. So a circle and the stem and the cute little leaf. I'm going to shade this in a little bit. Maybe it's a chocolate cupcake. And to make this look a little more like that cupcake container, we can kind of do this, or that paper cupcake thingy. Just do this little weird wavy curved line and then fill it in. And then just make 3 little lines there. Clean it up just a little bit. If you want this to look even better, we could do some shadows. So you could do like a little shadow under your cupcake. And if the shadow for the cupcake is going this way here, then we'll probably have a little bit of a shadow coming off of our panda as well. I don't want to get too crazy on this one because this is more for the little kids. We'll get more into talking about shading and stuff on the wolf. So now we've got at least a little bit of a hint of where the sun is coming from. Maybe we should make his leg a little longer. Just noticed that. Alright, now let's see, what else can we do? Maybe we can put a little design on his shirt. I don't know what kind of design. You could do a pattern. So we talked about patterns, and patterns are repeating lines, shapes, and colors. So make sure you have that repetition. So let's just, since this has gone a little long, let's just do a heart. Alright. So hopefully you were following along. And I'm gonna stop there, I think, for this video. We got our cartoon panda who is lifting some weights so he can earn his little cupcake here. So hopefully he's sweating a little bit and earning that cupcake. I don't know what else. Maybe a little sweat mark there. All right. I hope you guys like that. And I'm going to stop there for this video so these videos don't get too long. All right. Bye, guys.